Welcome to the men who chase geese. He has skinny arms. He's like a woman's arm.
Skinny.
He's like a big woman. Anyway.
So, today's episode arc will be about corruption.
And
the Academy, which
there we
is
go.
equally corrupt.
Yes.
So they
on
start
Mandalore.
off in Mandalore, and Padme is coming, and they give her a big parade because reasons why not. They want to give a parade to Padme because that's important. Because we give a lot of senators parades when they come to visit.
It's a waste of a lot of government, a lot of resources. They had probably had to float a bond.
Absolute waste. And while that's going on, some Egyptian aliens come up.
They're snake Egyptians.
Snake Egyptians.
You see
and they go onto the docking bay, and the docking bay guy is like, "Oh well, I'm the corrupt one. You're lucky you ran into me." So they come up with this plan to get tea duplicated for double the profit. So while all that's going, Padme is here to.
But it's poisonous if mixed wrongly.
And unfortunately, they do that.
Well.
So Padme is there to talk about why resources aren't being spent properly, which is ironic because she just got a parade thrown for her. So then they get that dealt with, and a couple of people are standoffish to Padme, a couple of people don't want to resolve it, and of course the Queen comes in. She's like, "All right, all of you shut up. Here's what we're gonna do. When everyone's cool, we're gonna figure this out." And meanwhile, the school gets incredibly sick. Everyone around them is like, "Well, nothing could possibly be wrong with anything that were any of our resources." So they look elsewhere, and it turns out the tea is poisonous. So, in that arc, it wasn't necessarily anyone's fault because everyone was at fault. So they were all equally bad, and everyone was corrupt and greedy. So they call in Ahsoka, and Ahsoka's there to teach a corruption class, which is strange because, why would a Padawan who's almost the same age as these younglings be teaching them about corruption? So she tells them to go out and do homework. And they find out corruption that turns out to be the headmaster prime minister. And so they put him at arms, and it turns out that he tries to take out the... what's her name?
Saltine.
Saltine. And he's like, "Your crackers aren't as good as my crackers." So they imprison her, and Ahsoka kind of creates this plan with 4 younglings, and it doesn't go well. She gets captured, screws up the whole plan. And in the end, it's one of the greatest fight scenes I've ever seen.
The stupidest fight scene you ever saw.
Where all the kids are tied up like this, and they just go, and they knock over.
Like everybody.
Specially trained
guards.
Secret Service members
they have this special
who can dodge or who are impervious to Jedi mind tricks, but get toppled over by 4 teenagers.
Yeah.
So, in the end, that's the corruption arc. And I give it 3 out of 5. Probably greatest fight scene I've ever seen.
Okay, I like this more than he did. I give it a 5 out of 5, and here's why. What I like about the whole Clone Wars thing is that it does try to show war in many different aspects. It doesn't just try to show one point or another point. It really tries to touch a lot of points, a lot of areas. One of the things it tries to expose in this arc is that during war, shortcuts get taken, corruption becomes a problem, war of profiteering, all these things become a problem that governments have to deal with. And it shows that.
Well, first it becomes a solution.
Well, okay, we'll get into that. So and it's full of double dealing. One guy that she thought that Saltine thought she could rely on to help, the prime minister, in point of fact, is also a part of the problem. And he becomes a part of the problem. And so what I liked about it is that it really tries to show, hey, this is what happens. You end up with you end up with war profiteering, you end up with corruption in wartime, and that's part of the penalty that they're paying for is this war. And if this war didn't happen or didn't exist, this wouldn't be a problem because shortcuts wouldn't get taken like they're taken. The trade routes wouldn't be threatened by war constantly, so things wouldn't. A black market, which does develop many times in wartime, developed in the United States in wartime, developed in England in wartime, they wouldn't develop to the level they are because they wouldn't need to be. You have regular markets with regular trade across the globe, and it wouldn't be a problem. But when you have war, that stops that, and then you have to deal with the black markets and corruption and criminal elements which move into that. and they of course poison the political classes and back and other classes and the political class and other groups start helping them, and they end up with what some people call narco states, where the drug cartels run the government, not the other way around. So that's what they tried to show. I liked it for that reason. That's why I give it a 5 out of 5, because it's actually, I consider it a very important piece. I consider it one of the more important pieces, art pieces, in the entire Clone Wars area, because it does try to show this thing. They've shown corruption over and over in the Senate. We got that.
Mm-hmm.
We got that point. But now they're trying to show it on a more localized level. This is what it looks like on a more localized level. Now it's a simplistic thing with the poison. That's fine. But it's trying to show that it's interesting again that a kids show would do that, but that's what they're trying to do, and they're trying to show you war and all their points. So
Probably freaked out a lot of parents, and they're like, "What is in my child's drinks?"
I really liked that they did that. That's why I liked it. Um, the fight scene at the end was hilarious, but I mean, it's that's what it is. So that's why. So I give it a 5 out of 5, mainly because it's part, not maybe by itself, but it's part of sections. Yeah, just like the clone cadet parts, and with the arc troops trying to show what they go through. They're trying to show in section by section what different parts of society are going through during this war, and that's one part of it, and that's what I like. So that's. So I was very happy with that. So I give it a high grade because of that. It's trying to show something other than just the regular nonsense. So there we go. 5 out of 5 for me. 3 out of 5 for him. And if it was just on content, you could probably argue it could be a 3 out of 5. I'm judging it on a different scale criteria based on kind of the whole Clone Wars thing. Okay? All right. Well, that's all for now.
You did like this episode.
Signing off for now. Take care, fellas.